Welcome back to Tucson Now. Joined with us live here at the desk from Sunblaze Energy. It is Erika and Jackson Raley. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here this afternoon.
How you guys doing?
We're doing well. We're doing well. So we have a lot of questions when it comes to solar energy, right? A lot more questions than answers, especially with the passing of the big, beautiful bill. And kind of threw a lot of things up in the air. So we thought we would bring on the pros to be able to kind of walk us through exactly what we can expect or what we know, at least right now, right?
Yeah.
Have there been a lot of questions for people, customers coming to you guys about, hey, what does this mean for us?
There have.
Yeah? What kind of questions?
Yeah. So basically just how is solar going to work? Is it still financially viable? Are there still savings? What's going on with the tax credits? Can I still get them? Are they coming back? All of those, just general stuff, money saving questions. Solar's always been kind of like an avenue to save money on a month to month basis, ideally, and take ownership of something that you're paying for, whether you like own it or not kind of thing with your energy. So yeah, it's mostly just savings-based questions, tax credit-based questions. That's the majority of it.
That makes sense. So let's answer those questions live here on the desk for those that are wondering and maybe don't have you guys here as an audience, to be a resource here. So let's start with those tax credits. What has now changed, and do we know what it looks like for the foreseeable future?
So the 30% tax credit for residential solar is truly going away at the end of the year, but there is a couple of caveats to that where like leases are still tax creditable-ish.
Yeah.
And then batteries also will have the 30% tax credit. So there are still going to be pretty significant financial savings that you can get from solar. It's just not going to be the direct same 30% residential tax credit that consumers have been used to for the last lot of years.
Yeah. That makes sense. And so what are some things that maybe there are questions that, is this changing? And the answer is no. Is there anything that's saying, hey, this is still kind of the same?
Well, like leases are still very financially responsible for the consumer. Like I said, that those still get tax credits up until I think June of next year, or July of next year, which is excellent for obviously us and customers as well. But the battery savings is going to be where the real money savings is for 2026 and
Yeah, moving into 2026 is going to be more based off of energy storage. So the prior administration's Inflation Reduction Act, which is what birthed the 30% tax credit, it took it from 26 to 30 and extended it through 2032. It was actually divided into multiple subsections, one of them being for like solar energy production, the other one being for energy storage. The Big Beautiful Bill Act actually only repealed the 30% federal tax credit for the solar generation portion of it, which means battery backup, storage, energy storage, anything along those lines is still redeemable for the full 30% all the way through 2032.
Okay.
So there's a lot of individuals out there. There are a lot of people that have gone solar in the past, in recent years, that did not have a battery. TEP's rate increases are still affecting them. And what TEP credits them back for power they push back into the grid is not increasing with their rate increases, which means that new cost discrepancy is now causing a bill. Like now they are having a bill where otherwise they had not. They can circumvent that by adding a battery to just store their own power instead of sending it back to the grid and then self-consuming that at nighttime. That's going to be the big avenue to travel moving into 2026, as well as Erika referenced like the leases. Leases are kind of like a convoluted topic in the solar space, but how the tax credits work in relation to leases is the leasing company actually gets to acquire all of the commercial tax credits that were available for solar and then apply them towards the cost of your system to keep your payments low. So like in the past, you would take out a loan for your solar payment and then you would use your tax credit almost as a down payment. And so you would be giving that money back to the bank anyway to keep your payments low. The leasing company does it the exact same way. It's just a lease to own option. Ownership of it transfers over to you at the end of your leasing term. They apply that tax credit towards the cost of your system, keeping your payments low. So you're just indirectly taking advantage of the tax credit in the same way you would have previously, but now just through like a different financial avenue.
almost less paperwork.
Less paperwork. You don't have to take on any sort of debt. You don't have to take out a loan. You don't have to, there's no financial obligation outside of your monthly payment when it comes to the leases. So again, month to month savings, definitely still there all the way through next year. That's not going away.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, bottom line there, because that question that you said that it all kind of boils down to is, hey, is this still a cost-saving avenue for me when it comes to solar energy? And it sounds like bottom line is absolutely, it's just through a different avenue, right? Fantastic. So for you guys personally, as somebody maybe that is just listening and has heard of solar energy, but maybe hasn't gotten into the weeds of the details of it before, what would you say to them in terms of, should I do this? I don't know. I've been on the fence. I've heard a lot about it. We're in Southern Arizona. You see solar panels everywhere. Maybe, maybe not, but it sounds like there's a lot of change up. What would you say to them about, through all of the details, all of the weeds of what you guys were talking about, for somebody that maybe has never explored solar energy before? Kind of, what would you tell them to fall on the other side of that fence?
I'd say just book a consultation. Find a reputable local company that's going to give you honest answers to your questions, and then have them build a design for you. Like, it's all going to come down to your roof space, the solar availability of your roof space, the way your planes are facing, and shading factors as well. So, like, especially moving into next year with the 30% tax credit going away if you're going to buy a system, we do still get the $1,000 residential or the state tax credit from the state of Arizona. They have a renewable energy tax credit of $1,000 that applies to the system. But it's all going to be based off of like the efficiency of your roof space now more than ever moving forward. When we were getting 30% back from the government, didn't matter what way your roof was facing, you could almost always see savings. Now it's just gonna take a little bit more of like efficiency of the roof space and that real estate on your roof, so to speak, to see the savings. But the savings aren't going to go away. Like, even if you're buying full price, no tax credit next year, and you finance a system, interest rates are coming down. Our lenders have lowered their interest rates in preparation for the tax credits going away. There's still month-to-month savings to be had, and there's still a way to take money that you're giving away to TEP right now and reinvest that into an asset that you own, right? So, I don't know, the financial benefits are still there.
Yeah. You mentioned a reputable company when it comes to figuring out how your roof, the roof space, right? So how does one go about finding that reputable company? And is that who determines your roof space, or is that something that you can kind of do a self-assessment?
I would say you're gonna need some programs. You're gonna need some software to actually run the metrics to get the solar availability of each roof plane. I say find a local reputable company for the fact that, like, it's pretty easy to skew numbers and make it look like it's gonna be a bigger savings than it actually will. You need to find a company that's just going to give it to you straight, that's just going to build out the design for you, show you exactly how many kilowatt hours the system is going to produce in relation to how many you used, and fact check that on your bill, right, to make sure that it is like a full offset system. And then you can take it from there. I mean, the price is going to fluctuate based off of equipment, based off of a whole bunch of different factors, but the important piece is just making sure that you're getting adequate coverage. You know what to expect out of your system. Like, if you only have roof space to offset half of your bill, but the company's selling it to you like you're not going to have a TEP bill once it's installed, that's where you get into kind of that that gray area. So
leave it to the pros, because you guys are able to do the math, right? And then you know that that's something that you can trust. You can trust that number. You can see the entire process of where you got from A to Z and what you can expect, right? Realistic expectations there. Erika, what do you wish that people that maybe haven't joined solar, even joined that conversation, what do you wish they knew?
One thing to go off of Jackson's point actually is local companies are really important to work with, because, we not only do we sell the equipment in-house, but we install the equipment in-house, and then we maintain it for you in-house, which and I don't want to make this into a poo-poo party of other companies, but, these local companies are very good at keeping their customer relations close, because they have to. They have no other choice in these types of situations. To his point, you have to know what to expect out of your solar system once it's installed. And so these local companies do a much better job of making sure that the maintenance long-term stays feasible, doable, and you're not, faced with more out-of-pocket expenses later after your installation just because one of your 44 panels decided to not work today, So really important to work with local companies that are reputable and will stay around a long time.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's about leaning on the community. It's about, if you have any questions, being able to book, like you said, a consultation to be able to get that reliable information that you can bank on, right? Moving forward when you're deciding if you're going to take those different avenues, right? For the exact same kind of savings, just through different processes there. So it sounds like not a lot of question marks moving forward, just getting a little creative in how you get to the exact same spot, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Exactly right.
Well,
Exactly
before we go, is there anything else you want to make sure Tucson Now audiences know when it comes to Sunblaze, solar energy, and the changes coming up at the beginning of the year?
Jackson? I'm going to say this. Sunblaze has been around for over 5 years now and has done a fantastic job of maintaining their systems, which has been the number one reason I've stuck around Sunblaze. The maintenance piece is a lot bigger than I think a lot of people give it credit for. You know, when you install an AC system, you expect that that AC is going to work for years to come. Same thing with your solar system. You have a 25-year warranty for a reason. And, you know, we abide by that warranty and we take on the labor costs that are associated with those types of things. And it's, so I urge people to go local and talk to the people that are trying to sell you and really get to know them and see if these are trustworthy people that are going to be in it with you for the long haul. Because it is honestly kind of like a marriage to the company. So you want to be married to a good company, not a poo-poo one.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Jackson. Any last words here?
I would just say, if you're curious, give us a call. Come talk to us. If it makes sense, it makes sense. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But there's no harm in just getting some answers to your questions. That's all we're here for.
No harm in getting the answers to your questions. Some of those, a whole lot of those overarching questions about the changes coming up at the beginning of next year, we were able to answer here, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, providing clarity, understanding how we can feel safe and dependent and in a really good marriage with our solar company, guys. Once again, Erika, Jackson, Raley from Sunblaze Energy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Absolutely.